right, welcome to another edition of Above the Bridge podcast. I'm your host, Thaddeus. Shout out to our producer, boy band, John. What's up, John? Right on. Shout out to our sponsors, Defend Hawaii. Right now, if you go onto their website, log on to defendhawaii.com. Upon checkout, use promo code ATBpod. You'll get 15% off all your purchase. Also, Detail Garage Hawaii. Same thing, ATBpod. Upon checkout, 15% off all your purchase order. DetailGarageHawaii.com. All right. Okay, so today, my guest today, someone I worked with a lot, somebody that I learned a lot from throughout these years. Everybody knows him as Mr. Mayjah Rayjah. What's up, Ray Jr. in the house? What's up, man?
What's up, Thaddeus? How you doing, brother?
How you been, bruh?
Been busy. Been real busy.
I know you've been doing a whole bunch of stuff. So no concerts to plan out, huh?
Nothing, can't help with the pandemic and people can't social gather. So, but right now the concert is out, but it'll come back probably hopefully the end of the year, next year sometime, 2022,
Yep, for sure. So what, prior to like you doing concerts, what were you doing? Like you were doing electrician work, huh?
Yeah, so I was actually a journeyman electrician for 12 years.
Oh, so you're making pretty good money doing that, huh?
Yeah. I got in when I was about 19 years old, and I started doing the electrical stuff, and then I slowly got into different businesses. I had a screen printing business when I was 19, printing shirts out of my backyard, and then I got into the nightclub scene, and then got into the concerts,
Yeah, that's how we linked up, was the nightclub scene, because you and your pops owned the Hush nightclub on, what was it, the Monarch Hotel, huh?
Yeah, it was the Hawaiian Monarch Hotel. Yeah.
Yeah, those are good fun nights.
Bring people.
Yeah, it was a rough one, but we had some good fun and some good nights there.
No, it was
awesome. To be honest with you, because of Hush and us working with you, I have a daughter.
There you go.
Yeah, I met my baby's mom the first night we promoted at Hush. So.
Oh, there you go.
Kind of owe you for my daughter being around.
Yeah. It's a long time ago. What is that? 2008, 2009. So it's been a while.
Oh yeah, it was 11 years.
Yeah.
More than that. Yeah, more than that. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been a while.
That place was good fun though. It was hard to promote because of the location and stuff, but it was sexy, and when people came, they had fun, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, that was probably one of my biggest achievements, I guess I would say. Even though it financially didn't work out, at the end of the day, but it taught me a lot about business. It taught me a lot about, obviously location. So, it taught me more than I expected. So it actually helped me with other businesses moving forward. So like I said, it's blessing in disguise. Some stuff's, worked out, but it worked out even better in the end, learning from those challenges,
Oh yeah, for sure. So from that, when Hush shut down, you immediately got into concerts, huh?
Yeah. And, AGN was one of my partners, starting out, helping out promote it. And, we got into the concert scene, and everyone thought I was crazy doing the Waikiki Shell as my very first event. I've never produced a concert in my life, and we did great. Sold out the Waikiki Shell for doing my very first show, and it was thanks to you guys, thanks to everyone that was involved. I couldn't do it alone, and had a lot of support from you guys, especially.
Bruh, those concerts were so much fun. Like, because we all were all like on board, and for us it was like our first kind of big events too. And I remember just standing on the stage, just looking out and being like, holy shit, I can't believe everybody showed up.
I mean, you was just as surprised as me, man. Like, for something that we we had no experience doing, but we had the drive, we had the drive to make sure it succeeded. And I think that's kind of what kicked it off, honestly, and from there it stemmed off to bigger things, so but
so you pretty much took Mayjah Rayjah and made it like a household name now. like I mean, there's probably not a person on this in the state that doesn't know what Mayjah Rayjah is. And you kind of branched out to taking that brand not just to island music, but like you've been doing a bunch of crazy shows and like all different kinds of stuff, huh?
Yeah, so over the years, island reggae was the main format of what I produce, with the festivals and doing island tours. But as you start to evolve your business, you realize you cannot just rely on one genre, So I had to step into hip hop with like the Wiz Khalifa, the Miguel, I had to step into, 90s pop, like the 98 Degrees, the All For Ones,
Oh, that's right.
and we also stepped into, like legacy acts like Air Supply and Richard Marx, Peter Cetera, So over time, and some of like our favorites in the club was like Jaru and Ashanti, right?
Yeah.
Like back in the day.
Yeah.
So like we did all, I had to branch off, just not being the reggae guy, and as time goes on, you learn about the business more, you learn about the networking with the agencies, and it's not as easy as it looks. It's not a
Oh,
party,
yeah.
basically. It's a party for everyone else but the guys behind the scene. We're
Yeah.
working, right? So but that's kind of what we live for. We live for that moment, that to show everyone our hard work, and they having a good time makes us happy, right? And I think
Yep.
that's what
I
kind of
definitely.
drove me to keep going and keep getting bigger, over time, and obviously the pandemic put a halt to it, but it's not the end. It should be
Yeah.
back, hopefully 2022 is kind of what we're expecting, to start doing shows again.
So from the artists that you did bring down, like what was like kind of like, oh shit, I can't believe I just did that. Like which artists were like the ones that took you like, oh, like not, I guess you're all proud of all your shows, but which one were you like, oh yeah, I did this guy or this group or
Um, no, I'm pretty proud of everyone we bring down, because, I only bring down artists that I like, honestly.
yeah.
Like I was a huge fan of Damien Marley. I got to tour him twice. I was a huge fan of the band Soulja. I toured them 2 or 3 times. Lauryn Hill, I toured her as well. I think I don't know. I mean, I think we did a lot of great shows. Honestly, one of my favorite shows would probably be the least expected was Air Supply.
Oh really?
Yeah, so they're like the 70s love songs.
Yeah.
They're kind of like the era of the Journey music. And to me, that was one of my favorite shows. It's two old guys singing.
Where'd you do that one at?
We did that one at was it Blaisdell Arena? Yeah, we did it at the Blaisdell Arena. We did it at the Maui Arts Culture Center. Then I took them to the outer islands. I took them to Kauai and Big Island.
I
Yeah. So
remember I remember doing shows with you on the outer islands, bro. Those are super fun.
yeah, it's just a little more challenging,
Yeah.
coming from here, right? We don't have the street team, up
Yeah.
there. We don't have the production crews. So everything you don't have the same equipment as Honolulu does,
Yeah.
right? They have kind of like a makeshift production, right? With multiple vendors. So, you hit your challenges with doing those type of tours, but also learn a lot. You learn a lot to improvise, and the
Yeah.
artist has got to improvise as well. So it's kind of like it's a good learning curve to do all these smaller islands, because it challenges you to put on a great show, even with the odds against you in production wise.
Yep. I remember being in the Big Island for Mayjah Rayjah, and we
Yeah.
showed up and they were supposed to have security, remember? And they had like these like high school kids trying to be security, and you got into it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
what
It was
the
like,
fuck is this?
yeah. They're like
He was like,
16-year-olds as security. That's right. I forgot
yeah.
about that.
And we had like extra large shirts. I'm like, bro, this guy not gonna fit that.
Oh, thank God we got out of that and no one got it. Not there wasn't a big
Yeah.
fight or anything, but yeah, that was pretty crazy. I mean, but that's part of the learning curve of when you own a business, right? You're
Yeah.
gonna run into things that you don't expect, but you gotta improvise at the time. And I think that's what separates a lot of people from, over time, right? Improvising, when they get into hardships, right? So, stuff like that, only makes you a better person or better operator for your business when you hit
Yeah.
challenges, because now, over years you hit 50 different challenges, and maybe, today something happened, you know how to assess the
Yeah.
problem, and I think, that's all just learn with time, so I think a lot of people, they tend to give up because they feel like it's hard, during their business, but that's just part of the process,
Yeah, and plus all those trials and tribulations,
Yep.
you make those kind of mistakes. The next one, you never gonna make those mistakes again and stuff like that.
Exactly. So
Yeah,
it's never, you never lose, you always just learn,
yeah. Which I did learn a lot from working with you. Sometimes what not to do, sometimes what to do.
Yep.
It was always good fun though. Like no matter what. I mean, like we took some hits sometimes. I remember sitting
Yep.
in the bowling alley, and like it wasn't a great turnout like we
Right.
expected, and I
Right.
just remember sitting on the alley itself with the stage next to you, and we knew we took a hit, and we
Yeah.
had to take this shit all the way to the show the next day. And he
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, bruh." We just shook our heads and just okay, on to the next one. Take this one, and
Yeah.
it was fun to learn with you, and it was
Yep.
fun to be working with Chris and Taylor. And
Yep.
for us it was like our first big events. We went on tour with these bands with you, and
Yep.
we got to meet all these cool people that we listened to on the radio and stuff. So for us it was always fun, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stressful but fun, like setting up
Yeah. I mean,
barricades
yeah.
in the hot sun wasn't
Everybody
fun.
think, being in the even nightclub or even concert scene, they think it's a big party,
Oh
and
yeah.
especially when you get more in the concert festival scene, it's more about logistics, making
Yeah.
sure things are on time, your artists arrive on time, they get picked up. So, a lot of things behind the scene people don't realize to put on a show, all
Yeah.
they know is they bought a ticket, they're gonna have a nice time, and that's what we want to deliver to them is a great time, right? So, at the end of the day, whether you lose money or make money, the whole point is to make sure the customer is happy. And I
Yeah.
think that's what helped me over the years is building that brand, that customer loyalty, right? People would always go to the festivals or any type of shows that we put on, because they know it's going to be a good time, and we don't cut corners on quality, and they know they can feel safe, with, well, except that one concert with proper security, and I think that's all a part about the learning curve, but it's, and you try to make it as fun as possible with the guys, because we're all
Yeah.
working hard, right?
Yeah.
Not every time you make money, but that's just part of it's part of the process of growing. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was always a fun time, and it was cool to see the crowd response. And
Yeah.
like for me, like I said, like standing on stage with Chris and Taylor and just looking out like, wow, we really busted our ass for like a couple months to
Yeah.
to get this thing promoted. And then from there you took this Mayjah Rayjah into like a whole big, and it was always your vision from when we got on with you ground level, and then when
Right.
you started to take it by yourself into bigger and better things, it was always your vision, this brand, like it was just something you believed in from the first day, and you're passionate about it. And to see it kind of come up, and I know it wasn't easy, brah,
Yeah.
and
It wasn't easy at all.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's challenging, especially at that time when we started doing the festivals and concerts. There were so many concert promoters, there's so many nightclub promoters,
Yeah.
and just over time they kind of just clipped themselves off,
Yeah.
and I
Yep.
think that's what my goal was always, just to be the last man standing, right? It wasn't
Yeah.
about making money tomorrow or immediately, it was about being the last man standing. And I think as time went on, that worked into my favor, is kind of playing, making sure I make good decisions on the artists, how much I pay them, just production wise, and kind of just building that buzz. But being the last man standing is kind of, I'm not the last man standing today, but you know what I mean. When we first entered this thing, there was like 10 people trying to do
Oh
it, right?
yeah, yeah,
Now there's probably two or three,
yeah,
which makes a huge difference in negotiating with artists, is huge difference negotiating with venues, because now these venues look at you as, they need you for business, right?
oh
Same
yeah,
with like the nightclubs and promoters, they need the promoters to bring their
yeah,
crowd, right? So over time, my leverage became stronger, right? Because now
yeah.
they wanted what I had instead of me wanted what they had, there was
Plus
less
two,
less for me and more venues and more businesses
yeah,
that need help, right? So that's kind of why my whole mentality for Mayjah Rayjah was just do a good job. At the first 4 or 5 years, we didn't bring the biggest, most expensive bands, right? But we made the party what it was, right? We
yeah,
made the
yeah,
party, we built
definitely.
the hype for it. So I think that's what carried on to what made it even more successful when we did acquire the big bands. We had that party vibe, and now it just grew even to another step higher, right? So I think that was always the goal. And at this point right now, I mean, there's probably just myself and another company that is established in Hawaii to consistently do these shows, right?
Yeah, it's
And
like you guys Hawaii's finest, and I think that's about it, huh? Like
well,
anybody
there's
else.
Damp as well.
Oh yeah, yeah, but they're more not island music. Well, I guess so. They do some stuff, but
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah,
guess
yeah,
it's you guys three, and then
yeah.
we'll do a random one here or there, but nothing too big. We'll do some
Yeah,
at the
the
Republic.
goal
Yeah,
is to eventually build into the bigger acts, right? But
yeah, yeah,
it takes steps, So like, I started at the reggae level, the island music level, went to the international reggae level, then we went into, the smaller, the number one bands of the 1980s and
yeah,
90s,
yeah.
so like they're not the current hits, right? And then, kind of hopefully getting to that level where we can get to that Beyonce Drake level, right?
So
And
what
that's
would
the
be
kind of
your
level,
like dream artist or band to bring down here? Like if you could like call your shot.
I one of my dream bands, even though they came here a lot, like I said, I like old 80s, there's Journey, like I
Oh
would love
yeah.
to do Journey. And even like if they did like a Stephen Perry reunion with Journey,
Hmm.
with Steve Perry, that would be pretty epic, but
Is he still
that's the kind.
alive?
Yeah, man. But he actually dropped a new album like a year ago.
Oh
His
no
own solo.
shit.
Yeah. So but it just that kind of music just reminds me of growing up. You just it's just good music, right? It's not
Yeah.
and the people around you is all happy to listen to this music. It's an older genre, and I think in my life that's the kind of music I want to start gearing towards, is that that type of music, right? Because I rather have less people paying a higher ticket price than 10,000 knuckleheads where problems can happen, right?
Oh yeah. That goes
So
with
like,
age too, you know what I mean? Yeah.
yeah. So, and I think that genre of music, you can attract a higher ticket price with less problems, right? Less risk, less,
Yeah.
so people wouldn't mind paying a few $100s to watch Journey when you got, kids struggling to pay $15 to watch a concert, right? So, that's the kind of stuff I'm looking more getting into in the future, and obviously, bringing a big name like the Beyoncés or the Weeknd or the Drakes, or obviously that's on the bucket list, but that all takes time. You can't just start from here and jump to there. It doesn't work like
Yeah.
that in the music business. You kind of gotta earn your stripes like anything else. Because they're not gonna trust you to run a big show like that, 50,000 people, if you don't have the experience to do it, right? And I think that's what
Yeah.
I learned from the beginning. When I try to get these bigger artists, they kept telling me no, right? I'm like, I got denied more than God. I got denied more than I got more yeses, but
Yeah.
that was okay. That was kind of like, hey, maybe I got to just keep working on myself, right? So the more I did that, the more I established a brand and a
Yeah.
recognizable name, not just in Hawaii, but internationally and nationally with agencies and bands recognizing, that's who they want to work with for Hawaii, then it made it easier, right? Now they start to come to you, right? The agent start, hey Ray, you think you want to take this band or that band? When before I would be the last guy they call, right? I'll be like,
Yeah.
but now it's it's working full circle, but it was 12 years and 13 years in the making. It wasn't overnight, People
Yeah.
look at it as an overnight thing, but I don't think any business you own is an overnight success. It's
Yeah.
either you've been working on it for 10 years and the audience only found it yesterday.
Yeah,
Then it's like an
exactly.
overnight success, right? But
Yeah.
I don't think any business you get into is an overnight success. So it
Well,
takes time to
consistency
build.
is the key, right? And I mean, we start off with you guys for what was it, 18 bands or $18,
Yeah,
three
18 times.
stages. Right, I
Yeah,
still got the commercial on my iPod on my
yeah,
phone.
yeah.
That was so
But I
much
mean,
fun, bro.
even like that, we didn't make much money, but it was kind of
Yeah,
about, doing a cheap ticket for the
yeah,
value, right? It was kind of like, hey, and hope in return we make something, right? But, like I I would never regret not doing all of those things, and I
oh
would
yeah,
like I said, I would never regret, not doing the nightclub, even though it wasn't financially successful.
yeah,
It helped make me successful, if that makes any sense.
yeah.
The lessons learned in that, made a big difference in what's happened today. And I think
And
that's kind of people got to understand about business.
yeah, and what was cool about that is the artists. Like I had Odyssey or Joseph Soul on
Yeah.
last week, and
Uh,
he was on our first Aloha Laulea. It was
yeah.
his CD
Yeah.
release party.
Right.
Common Kings, their first big concert was the
Yep.
first Aloha Laulea, and I remember they were nervous going on stage, and it was like,
Yeah.
bruh, just do it. And now they're just like Grammy nominated, and
Right.
the
Right. That's the
Odyssey's on
thing.
The Voice and shit, and it's like, bruh, they
Yeah,
like,
that's the cool thing about this is, we started over a decade ago, so we kind of grew up with the bands themselves, like when the Green came out, I did their first, the first Mayjah Rayjah was their first time playing at the Waikiki Shell. Now they're this big international reggae artist,
you
uh,
did their first CD release too at Pipeline.
yeah,
I
Pipeline.
remember that.
That was my
I remember
very
that.
second show. So like
Yeah.
even that I made a lot of mistakes, like, I just didn't know I didn't even know what a green room was, it's like that's how green I was, right? I was learning about production, but everyone got to start somewhere, and I think like I said, learning all of that the hard way, it made me better for the future, to
Yeah.
endure problems,
So everything was going smooth. Ray Jr. was blowing up Mayjah Rayjah. Mayjah Rayjah is becoming a household name. Everybody on this in the whole state went to a Mayjah Rayjah concert, being old people, little kids, and it's been going for like what, 10 years, 12 years, and then
12 years now, yeah. 12
all
years.
of a sudden your whole livelihood just gets put on pause or stop. It
Yeah.
didn't even stop. And I understand it too, being in the club industry. We just
Yep.
like, it just stopped, and it's like,
Yep.
okay, for you this was your bread and butter, this was
Yep.
your 24 hours a day job. And
Right.
so what happened after that? Like, I mean, you must have felt stressed out or worried, because at first it was like,
Yeah.
okay, 2 weeks to flatten the curve and everything go back to normal, and then that became 4 weeks, 2 months. It's been
It's
a
a
whole
year
fucking
now.
year. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously we had some hope, hopefully by May it would open up after they closed down in March, and that didn't happen because I had a few shows on sale already. I had Lauryn Hill at the Blaisdell Arena, so we had to push that back. I just finished Valentine's weekend with 98 Degrees
Oh, that's
when the
right.
coronavirus got announced literally a week after. And yeah, so I put Lauryn Hill on sale, and obviously that we pushed the date back to May. That didn't happen. Then we tried to push it back to November. That didn't happen. And I had a bunch of other bands signed for summertime. I had like Sublime signed. I had like 15 artists signed already, planning for the
Wow.
year. And the hard part about all of that is now you got to fight with a lot of these guys to get your money back because they don't want to give it, right?
Oh, because you put
agencies,
the down,
right? Because
put the
because
down
they
payment.
know they don't have money, then they're not gonna have future money coming in. So but that was an issue for a few guys, not all of them, but for a few of them, it's just trying to get back our money, the deposits, and and then lo and behold, I got into trading stocks, right? And that honestly was a blessing in disguise, because after everything shut down in March, I'm not gonna lie, I was stressing out. I was, you just kind of like everything got taken away from you for no reason, right?
Yeah.
And I got into stock trading, and it's been a
How'd
blessing
you
in
get into
disguise.
that?
Honestly, man, I was just sitting in. My daughter was about to be born. I was in the hospital and watching the news and watching the market crash, and I opened a trading account, and I end up buying all these stocks on that on March 16th she was born, and that's when the big crash happened, the 8th and the 16th.
Mm.
So I was just in the in the waiting room, not the waiting room, but in the room, and we just started buying stocks, and within a week I was seeing such a huge increase in it. I seen like almost a 30-40% gain on my money. I was like, damn, what I mean, how do you make that kind of money, right? And so I got really into it. I got hooked into it. I started doing education online. I started to do mentorships. I started to do all these different types of classes. I just wanted to learn as much as possible and feed my brain, because I seen what it can do for a person. Just me sitting down and not knowing anything, I made a ton of money. So now if I get educated, I think I can be very successful at it. And that's kind of what I did. I invested in education first. That was the first thing, because I think when I first got into it, I got lucky. Like a lot of people, new traders, they got lucky and they feel like they know everything about the stock market. Oh, I made all
Oh,
this money, but you basically guessed and you got lucky. But getting the education, now I can identify and trade properly. And like I tell everyone I've been teaching, is the stock market is beatable. You just need a strategy and a technique and patience, and you can beat the stock market. And I think that's the hardest thing for people to cope with, is patience. We're naturally
yeah,
born impatient, right? And I
for
think
sure.
that's why you lose in the stock market, is because you're impatient.
Everybody
But
wants a quick fix. That's why.
yeah, I said how to just get out, sell for a loss, right? But as I got more educated, I understand that really stock trading is 30% skill, 70% psychological. You got to be able to stomach the drops when the market is red, like these past couple weeks. You got to be able to see a negative red on your account, right? And I think that's the biggest hurdle in trading, and that's something you cannot teach. You can only coach people to be patient, but you cannot really instill that in them. That's something they got to do on their own. So
Yeah.
I think trading stocks, I mean, is been a blessing in disguise for me. And now I'm just trying to teach other people so they can understand and, basically buy time in their life. What I mean by that is, they can invest in the market while they go to work. But now maybe next year they don't have to work overtime or work Saturdays and Sundays. Maybe you don't have to work your second job after you figure out how the stock market works and you start winning. But it's just that in Hawaii, nobody teaches it.
Yeah.
There's no trade school here. There's no any educational, programs to teach anybody about Wall Street, right? And that's kind of what I wanted to seek out, is learning how to trade and learning how these guys become billionaires. It's
So
like,
how did you seek out the education? You had to go online courses or
yeah,
what?
yeah. A lot of stuff is online courses, Zoom. So I got into a good mentorship with Stuart Ramos. He's a local guy from Hawaii, but he lives in Maryland, and he has this whole stock trading thing on lock. So I got a mentorship through him, and I also, at the same time I was learning from other programs. So what I had to do is I had to figure out what worked for me. Because even though I was a part of all these different educational courses or mentorships, I was still losing money because I was trying to do it the way they did it. I
I
had to
see.
sit back and reevaluate everything. What works for me, right? What is simplified that I can understand? What is simplified that I can mimic over and over again and beat the stock market? And I developed a simple strategy to do that. And ever since I've done that, I just see my account just grow like wildfire. And that's kind of what I'm trying to teach people now. So like, me and you, or me and another person can go to the same high school, same college, but it's whoever can implement it, what they learn into their life better is going to
Right.
be more successful. It doesn't
Correct.
mean because we get the same degree, you're going to be just as successful, or I'm going to be as successful as him, right?
Yeah.
Whoever can implement in their training, implement in their everyday life what they learn properly. And that's kind of what I think I did. I think I figured out what worked for me, and I simplified the methods that it's easy that anyone can learn it now. I can teach
Yeah.
it to a 15-year-old, a 20-year-old, a 60-year-old. They can all understand it because I'm teaching it from easy to use point of view, rather than a complicated trying to hear all this complicated lingo. It confuses you.
So it's like on
Uh,
local brother trying to teach local brothers how to win in Wall Street.
yes, kind of that. And I think that's why we have built such a following so quickly. Not just because of that reason, but because the stock market over the pandemic has become such a big thing for people to make extra money. People can invest in the market while they go to work, or during the pandemic where they can't work, they started to learn, right? But a
Yeah.
lot of people are just not, they're guessing. A lot of them not educated, right?
So it's
And
like they're gambling, kind of.
they're gambling. But the thing about the stock market, if you know what you're doing, is you're not gambling. You're just investing.
I
So there's a
see.
big difference, right? People think investing in the stock market, you're gambling. It's only gambling if you don't know what you're doing and you're uneducated. You don't know where to buy the stock. You don't know where to sell it. You don't know how to do your due diligence. You don't know how to chart out your trades. That's when you're gambling, when you're uneducated. So I kind of wanted to just help local people get educated. I know everyone doesn't have $50,000 like I spent the past 12 months trying to get educated from various programs, right? So I wanted to see if I can come into Hawaii and teach them for $99 a month, right? Something very simplified, affordable, but the knowledge you gain is priceless, because once you learn how to trade, you can use, it's a gift that doesn't stop giving. You can do this for the rest of your life. You can pass it on to your kids, the knowledge to your kids. You can pass the knowledge on to your uncles, your auntie, your mom, your dad. And then after you pass away, the stocks you hold is transferable to your children or whoever you leave it to. You cannot do that with a job, right?
Yeah,
You can be a doctor, a lawyer. You can have the best job in the world. You can be the president of the United States. You cannot pass that on to your kids.
for
But
sure.
equities, assets, you can, right? And that's kind of what I looked at moving into the stock market. And I took a lot of my money out of the concert business because it's non-existent right now, and I invested in the stock market. I invested in education. I invested in just trying to build an ecosystem that Hawaii could use and benefit from. So that's
So
kind of
so
my
how
mission right now.
so how are you educating people? So you're kind of like teaching people now. How are you doing that? Like, how can people seek you out?
Yeah, so right now I have like a free Discord room, chat room. It's basically a chat room, text chat room. And through social media, Facebook and Instagram at Rayjrtrading, and we have links in the bio to the free chat room. And in the chat room, there's some free, beginners type of courses that I found online. This is not something I didn't build, just some kind of beginners, just kind of doesn't have a strategy, just gives you basic knowledge of what the stock market is, how to buy and sell a stock. It doesn't teach you a strategy though, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I've been doing, the past, actually 2 weeks ago, I did my first 2-day training, and I started to train people how to trade properly using a particular strategy that I use. So I'm basically trying to give everyone what I have in here in their head, and hopefully they can change their financial life, for the future and for the kids, and like I said, the great thing about the way I trade is anyone can do it. It's very simplified to do, and you don't have to stare at the stock market all day. It's a swing
Mm.
trading method to where you can set your buy targets and sell targets, and you can go to work. And if it hits, it hits. If it doesn't, then your stocks are in play, right? So I try to develop something where it was easy for me, knowing that, I have 5 children, I have multiple businesses, I had to develop something that I could easily carry on in my life without staring at the stock market. If, just say, when all my businesses come back, my concerts come back, my artists booking, record label stuff come back, I don't have to stare at the stock market all day,
Yeah, yeah.
So that's kind of why I wanted to develop this, because if busy as I am, if I can still make a ton of money in the stock market with this strategy, a person with a 9 to 5 job can easily have more time than me.
For
And
sure.
I think if I can prove that, and people start to win, and it's going to be the word of mouth is just going to spread like crazy, because I already see people winning, like I had this one lady, she's, late 40s, or, probably almost 50, she did the training 2 weeks ago, and implementing the strategies I taught her, how to chart, how to do her due diligence, how to read the S1s and all of that. She already made 30,000 in the first 7 days of her trading.
Oh
I don't
wow.
know what she
That's
started
game
with.
changing money.
Yeah. So, like, I mean, even if you made a few $100 a day, I mean, you may say $300 a day times 252 trading days, that's another 75,000 that you have in your pocket plus your regular pay,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But imagine guys take it a step further. They're making 1,000 a day. It's 250,000 a year extra. Guys taking it further, 10,000 a day. It's 2.5 million a year. And it's all possible, It's all possible through the stock market. So I was never a fan of the stock market. This is the weird thing about it. I was never a fan of the stock market. I was always thinking, invest in real estate, invest in
Yeah.
Hawaii's real estate, because it would never go down over time. But
That makes sense.
yeah, and honestly, before getting to the stocks, I was thinking of like flipping houses or stuff like that, right? Because I had all this capital from my event business that I needed to invest, right? But after learning everything, there's no way people who flip houses can make the kind of money that people who flip stocks. I can flip 10 stocks in one day. They take 3 to 6 months to flip one house.
Oh yeah, that's
You know what I
true.
mean? And there's so many steps with flipping houses. You gotta buy the house at a good price. So you gotta negotiate or bid against other people. You gotta get a realtor involved. You gotta get a property manager involved. You gotta get inspectors involved. You gotta get contractors involved to renovate the place. You gotta just so many steps. And it's not guaranteed money, right?
Yeah.
There's a strategy to flipping houses, but in Hawaii, the the price of a house is so expensive. Even a rundown house is going for
Yeah,
$1 million, right?
for
And
sure.
I, I just feel like flipping stocks is more profitable. And like I said, if you have a strategy, you cannot lose money. I cannot stress that enough, because you only lose money when you actually sell the stock. But
Yeah.
if you get into a stock that is a good company, right? It's like an Apple, or not even, there's a bunch of good companies out there, smaller companies. You just buy it at a discount when the stock drops, like this whole week. A lot of stocks are at a discount. So, you buying a good company at a discount, it's eventually going to go back, retrace back up to regular price or higher, right? That's the method right there. But you got to know where to buy it. you got to know where to sell it, you know? And that's kind of what I'm teaching is how do you identify where you buy it and what's a good price? And that's
So
all reading the chart, due diligence, you know, and all of that.
so that's what you're teaching to people who take your course. And I think you were telling me you're developing an app to help people get into your
Yeah.
course, or how is that gonna play into your teaching?
Yeah. So I got the Discord chat room. It's free, right? You know, literally within just right now 2 months, almost exactly 2 months. I mean, we got almost 3,400 members, which I thought, I was very surprised by that. I didn't think we'd even get close to that. You know, when I started the chat room, I was thinking 10, 20 people just want to, you know, have fun and amongst Hawaii people and trade. And what I seen is just like I'm not gonna say a movement, but you kind of see that everybody's interested in trading stocks, right? Whether they follow my strategy or they doing their own thing, there's a huge interest in stock trading right now because of coronavirus. You know, coronavirus
Yeah, yeah,
basically sped up the artificial intelligence, you know, timeline by 5 years. You know, so things are going online. So everybody's working from online, right? Working from
yeah,
Zoom. Stock trading, you can literally do it in your bed, lying down, you know,
yeah, yeah. Take
with
while
the
you're taking a
apps and
shit.
stuff. Yeah. So, I mean, that's what I see people, that's what I think people are seeing is they can make extra money and not adjust their life, you know. They're not quitting their job. They're not finding a new job, you know. They can do it, you know, at lunchtime or, you know, they can just let it go, buy a stock and just let it ride until they sell it, right? So I think with the Discord chat room that I have, the Ray Jr. Trading Discord, it was more so to kind of see the interest, you know, and I discovered there's a huge interest in it. I was more about building a hub where Hawaii's people can trade with each other because there's no hub like that in Hawaii. There's no ecosystem, trading ecosystem in Hawaii. I believe this is the first one. You know, it's the first one that people like when people started joining the chat room, some guys are trading 10, 20 years and they mentioned that. So that's how I found this. This is the first time we had a Hawaii chat room. There's chat rooms obviously all over the world. You can go online and go to, but you're talking to people from Canada, you're talking to people from California, New York, all different time zones, you know,
Yeah,
and that's cool. But I think it's different, like watching Max in Hawaii, right? It's,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
watching somebody that you want as UFC in Hawaii, then watching UFC in MGM Grand, right? It just has that special thing where we all kind of relate to each other in a way, right?
Oh yeah,
And
for
that's what I
sure.
feel the ecosystem is priceless once you build that out. And but yeah, so in May we're doing an app release. Yeah, and
Okay.
it's gonna be like a monthly subscription. You know, it's gonna be $99 a month, and you know, with that you're gonna get tutorial training. You know, you get a bunch of videos that you're gonna learn all the strategies, exactly how I trade, you know, exactly what I look for, and more. There's more. You know, we're gonna have a chat room. I'm gonna show what I'm doing as far as my trade ideas. These are not like you cannot give financial advice because I'm not a financial
Yeah.
advisor. But what I'm just sharing is my content. That's all I'm sharing is what I do and what I am doing as far as trade ideas. Now it's up to you to do it, do your due diligence, but I'm just sharing what I'm doing, right? And that's kind of what the app is going to be about, is building an ecosystem as an educational app. So what I end up doing, because a lot of people couldn't wait to May, they wanted to start learning immediately. So I told everyone, if you sign up for 1 year, like an annual subscription, I'll do the training for free, you know, and the money would go towards building the app, right? Going towards the
Oh yeah.
marketing, going towards the build out of everything. So that's kind of what we're doing. I had my first class, and my first class, you know, we had about 101 people, which is a pretty big class. You know, everyone
Was
is
that
excited.
on Zoom?
Yeah, it's all virtual learning. I mean, we can't have
Yeah.
classrooms. So, you know, I can talk to as many people as I want now. You know, I think my Zoom account can go to like 1,000 or something, you know. You get to upgrade the account. So I think I could talk to 1,000 people if I wanted to. But, you know, at first I only said 50 people, but then the demand was so great to learn. So I said, okay, we maxed it out at 100, right? Now I have training again this upcoming weekend, and we have like 70 something people, you know. So I just trying to train as much people as I can to kind of implement education into their trading process, so they can start trading and making better decisions today rather than waiting later, right? You know, and that's kind of what we're working towards, is the app first, and a lot of it is trying to just trying to educate the local people. I think that's kind of a big void we have in Hawaii. We don't have the proper education in our education system. They don't
Yeah.
teach our kids about taxes. They don't teach our kids about credit scores. They don't teach our kids about making a loan. They don't teach our kids about how to manage money. You don't teach your kids how to invest money. You know,
Yep.
I mean, and then that is one of the biggest missing elements that in education in general. I don't know about the other states, but I know Hawaii for sure doesn't teach it at all.
Yeah,
And I
it's
think,
the way the system works is they're just teaching you curriculum. They're not
yeah,
teaching you what you're gonna use in
everyday
life.
life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I
Like I was
always
looking at
thought
my
that.
daughter's homework the other day, like, when are you gonna use trigonometry?
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know what I
They
mean?
should
Like,
teach these fucking kids common sense because it ain't that common anymore.
yeah, I agree with that. But
We should
even like,
have
you know,
that
like
class.
the whole generation is so different from when we
Yep.
grew up. You know, it's like
Oh yeah.
so different. Like they're not as motivated as
Yeah.
you would think they would want to be. They don't
Because
work
they
with
never
their
get
hands as
lickings,
much,
that's
you
why.
know?
They never get
Yeah,
lickings.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, but like just the whole generation is so different
Yeah.
to what it used to be, and I think just I just think our the education system needs work, and I think implementing financial education to me is the most important education,
For sure. Yeah.
and like I always tell everyone, you cannot confuse education with schooling. I could care less if you went to MIT or Harvard. Don't mean
Yep.
you smart, and don't mean you're going to be successful in life. What makes you successful is you as the individual learning and getting educated on something that you're gonna use to make money for your family or whatever it is, right?
Yep.
But
For
you
sure.
don't have to go to a big 4-year college or even go to private school your whole life to learn that. You can
Yep.
easily learn that with just educational programs. A
Well,
lot of
you
them's
can
online.
anything can be education. Like you said, you learn from doing your shows. Like,
Yeah,
oh, that was education. I learned
yeah,
from you and doing shows with you. That's education. You know what I mean?
yep,
Like
yep.
that kind of shit you can't buy. You
You
can't go
can't
to
buy,
a
yeah,
class at UH and learn that stuff. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
it's
So
just a lot.
I think that's what a lot of the kids are missing right now, is that online, not online, but at peer-to-peer, in-person kind of win and losses.
Yeah.
They're not getting that being at home in bed in Zoom. Like
Yeah.
they're waking up at 7:50 to go at 8 o'clock class, so we have to
Oh
wake up
yeah.
at 6:30, get ready, catch the bus or wherever you went to school, right? You know what I mean? It's just it's different.
Yep. You just
So
open your
I think,
laptop and you're good.
yeah, now they can just open their laptop, never brush their teeth yet, and go to school, right? And
Yeah.
they're fine. But you couldn't do that in our day, and I think that's gonna be a huge thing over time. I think it's gonna really affect the way the
Oh,
world
I
is
didn't even
run.
think about that. Yeah.
Just because of what's happening today, it's making them lazier, I guess you would say,
Yeah.
right?
And
But it's not their
they're
fault. That's the thing. It's not their fault. That's
yep.
just the way the world moved in their generational time, right? So it's not
And
their fault.
they're literally getting educated through a screen. They're not having
Yeah,
interacting. And it's I see it with my daughter when she's doing her school from home, and
right.
it's frustrating. Not to mention
Yeah,
I'm trying to relearn fifth grade math all over again.
right.
But
Right. But yeah, so I just think the world is so different than what it was, 20
yeah.
years ago, even 10 years ago.
Oh yeah.
And so it's interesting to see what happens. But like I said, people are moving to do work online. They're working from home now, even adults. They don't even have to go in actual work anymore. They don't have to even go to a conference room.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I can see right now, you know what I mean, just taking that what I just said, real estate is probably going to take a dip because no one's going to be renting offices again. Nobody's gonna
Yeah.
renew their big offices. They're gonna downsize. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of like, uh, trickle effect that's gonna come off this pandemic, and a lot of it is good and a lot of it is bad. But soon to find out.
So what I wanted to know, so you're taking this into a whole new business and it seems to be
Yep.
doing well, and like you said, you're starting all over again and it's building a little quicker than Mayjah Rayjah, but it's growing.
Yep.
What's going to happen when the pandemic stops? Like, are you going to be motivated to work? Okay, doing 5-7 shows a quarter, like that's, I mean, I know the stress, I know the work, I know how much
Right.
it consumes your life. And I just from
Yep.
watching your Instagram in the past maybe half a year, all of it before was Mayjah Rayjah, this concert, this person's coming out.
Right.
Now I see, oh, I'm with my kids, I'm with
Yep.
my girl, we're at the beach, I see your son bodyboarding. Like,
Right.
the moments you have with your kids and your family become way more. What's gonna
Yep.
get you to be motivated to go back into the whole Mayjah Rayjah, putting out concerts, grinding, stressing, worrying, working, when you could be doing this and enjoying more time with your family? Like, what are you gonna try and do? You're probably gonna have to find a balance, or you could just do this instead.
No, I'm never. I don't think I'll ever get away from live music. I just, that's part of my DNA. I just love live
Yeah,
music in general, and I just feel, with the pandemic, like I mentioned earlier, it was a blessing in disguise. As hard as it was to swallow everything just disappearing, I had to pivot. You know what I mean? I had to pick myself up and learn something totally different that I've never been in the space of. But I had to get educated first. I couldn't. I would never be successful without being educated, right?
yeah,
But when 22 comes around and things start to get back to somewhat normal, the new type of normal, obviously I'm just going to be a little pickier. It's
yeah,
not something that I have to do immediately to, or as much as before, because now I have a new focus, right? But it's something that I probably would always do, probably for the rest of my life. I may not do it as much. I may do only 2 shows a year. Who knows? I may only do one show a year as time went on. But I think as time goes on, I'm still might be the last man standing, right? So
yeah, yeah,
I might have those acts that maybe I wanted the Beyonce today. Maybe I'll get Beyonce 5 years from now. So like I think that's kind of the cool thing about it is I don't have to rely on it, right? So I don't have to
yeah,
just do shows to make income anymore. So now I can make more educated and more, more, I guess, pleasurable decisions, right? Stuff
yeah.
that I want to do. So I can pick and choose now, right?
And
And
you'll
I
have
think that's
more
kind of
time
what
with
makes it
family.
even better moving forward. I still I have best of both worlds now. I can make money in the stock market. I can, do the app, and then now I got my events back. My festivals. I got my artists that I manage. And I think it's a blessing in disguise. It just was it was a 2-year hiccup. But
Yeah,
I took
yeah,
advantage of that time. And I think that's what a lot of people, they just sit back and just whine, oh my god, the government did
yeah,
this, oh my god, this and that. Where I took it as, what, I'm not gonna just sit down and whine. I'm gonna do something about it, and I'm gonna put my money into education. I always bring up education because people think they can do the stock market without it, and you
yeah.
probably could, but it's going to take you a lot of trial and error, right?
Lot of
Where
lost money.
you're gonna lose way more money. It's almost cheaper to join the course for 99
Yeah,
bucks
for real.
than to lose 99 bucks in 2 minutes. So they're on, the first of the month, right? So
Yeah,
and that's kind of where I'm getting at. Once you learn it, you don't have to do it my way, but you should take it in as lessons that I learned, what I think works, and implement it into your own self. Because like I said, when I started learning from different people, I was trying to copy them, and it wasn't
yeah,
working for me, right? It works for them, it wasn't working for me. So same with this, I don't want people to just copy me, but I want them to implement it in what they feel works best for them. And I think that's what's going to make them successful. They're going to learn a little bit from me, a little bit from the other guy, or a little bit from wherever, right? But
Yeah.
you got to have a strategy. You got to get educated somehow, some way. And I would recommend not to trade unless you get educated.
Well, that's cool. So nowadays you've been having a lot more time with your family, but you
Yep.
just had another kid, bruh. How you said you have 5 now? How's
Yeah,
that
well, my
going?
fiance has had you know, before we got together, she had another kid. I had already three, and then
How
me
old's
and her
your
had
oldest? I
one.
just seen she's a senior.
17. Yeah, she
Holy
graduates this year. She
shit.
makes 18 in May.
That's
Yeah, so
crazy.
I'm getting old, man. Yeah.
I seen your son got his license. I'm like, bruh, I remember when he was so tiny. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. I get his permit right now, so he's starting to
Oh,
learn to drive his driver's ed. But yeah, I mean, you know, but this is where I say, you know, a lot of stuff I regret. You know, I was working so much. You
yeah.
know, I regret not being there. And you know, with my newborn Riley, she makes one already. You know, this year. Um, you know, I actually got to spend almost every single day with her. I'm home every day, right? And you
Yeah.
know, like
Yep.
I didn't have that moment with my other kids, you know. So
Well,
this is
he's
kind of
always,
where, like I said, the it was more of a blessing. Maybe I got hit financially in the beginning, and everything got, you know, fell apart as far as my business. But on the personal level, I gained more than I could ask for, you know. And I also, you
yeah.
know, developed a new love for a new business, which is trading stocks. So, and now with that, I can share it with everyone because I truly believe if I'm not doing it, nobody else will. Because if
Yeah.
not, they
You're
would have
right.
been doing it already, right?
Yep.
You know, instead of people paying this ridiculous amount of money, you know, and still not learning much because it's too confusing. Stock trading is confusing to learn if you don't know the lingo, if you don't know the language. You are fresh off the boat and you don't know anything. I don't care what stock trading course you go to that is out there right now. It's hard to understand and build a strategy for yourself because it's just they talk about so many points. And I think that's why people are gravitating to what I am doing. I focus on 5, 6 points and that's it. I make my trade off those 5, 6 points and I buy with conviction based off that data, right? Where a lot of stock trading courses is like 50 points. You know what I mean? Like it's just 50
Yeah.
different things you look at. It's like it's too much. It's overthinking. All we're trying to do is get a 10, 12% gain and we're getting out of the stock. You know, we're not trying to own the company in real life. You know, I'm not trying to buy Tesla in real life, you know.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to buy 100 shares or something like that, 50 shares or whatever it is, right? So I think focusing on the key points that I teach is what made me successful because it's easy to be repetitive. I can get good
Yeah.
at 6 things rather than 50 things to learn, you
True.
know?
True.
You know, it's kind of like the In-N-Out burger model, 3, 4 things on your menu. And you just keep next customer, right?
Yeah.
So same thing, next stock, right? And it works. You know, I've proven that it works, and I think that's what the biggest result of the chat room was me actually telling people my live trades, and they see where it ends up. I
So you
think that
got
was
proof.
proof. Yeah. Hey, I
Yeah.
said this on Monday. I show my screen, win or lose. You know, some days are good, some days are bad, but they see the stock that I got in on Monday, and 2 Mondays later, I made 20 grand off that stock. They're like, "What the hell? How come we didn't do? How can we do that, right?" And they
yeah.
want to start to learn. They get curious, right? But I was doing that day after day after day after day after day, and I'm not doing anything magical, you know, or rocket science. Simplified. So when they see that, it makes them want to learn, eager to learn, because you know I want to make that not that kind of money, maybe something smaller, but making $200, $300 more a day is like me working at my full-time job is
Yeah.
1,500 a
Yep.
week. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So that's kind of what I wanted to instill in people is show that the strategy works And, I have a lot of testimonials to prove that. People posting in the room, hey, I've been implementing, I've been working, and it's just people just gotta, as time goes on, people with the 100 people I trained last 2 weeks ago, when they 6 months down the line, when they're successful,
They
you
go
know what I
tell
mean?
their
They're gonna say,
friends.
yeah, they're gonna tell their friends. They're gonna start spreading the word. Hey, go sign up for Ray's app or join the Discord. It's free, right? But that's the goal, is to help educate Hawaii's people, and not be like me, have to spend $50,000 to do it. You can easily do it for, 5,000% less a month.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it'll take off. I kind of want to check it out, bro. I want to see what I can
Yeah.
get into. I like be one of your testimonies. Yo, Ray, I just made 50
Yeah.
racks
No,
legally.
Yeah. But like I said, tell everyone, it doesn't matter if you're trading a $500 account, like you only have $500 or 500,000. The steps are all the same. It's
All
just
right,
as
I
your
gotta
bigger
check it
account
out.
grow, you get more leverage, right? But it
Yeah.
doesn't matter what the account is. Once you have the education and you keep winning, doesn't matter what your account. That $500 account could turn into 500,000 in a matter of a few years.
Yep.
So if they just keep repeating, imagine you flip it, 500 to 1,000, 1,000 to 2,000, 2,000 to 4,000, 4,000 to 8,000. You know what I mean? You flip that, 20 times, you over $250,000.
Yep.
So it's just that's kind of what it is. So it's not impossible. Like I said, I watch people make $1 million in a few minutes live in front of my eyes, and I'm like, what the hell? How can I do that, right? Because
I'm gonna try get it. I'm gonna
right
try
there.
get into this so then I don't have to be working the clubs no more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Getting an
And
old for
you don't
that.
know when the club's gonna come back, and
Yeah,
you don't know when the
exactly.
concerts are gonna come back. And even if they do come back, you know what I mean? People are gonna be they're gonna have this phobia. They don't want to be around you
Yeah,
anyway.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
It's like,
So it's
yeah,
like,
people
it
ain't just
doesn't
gonna
matter if
be.
we open tomorrow. It doesn't mean they would come out. Because I
Yeah,
doubt it. If we open tomorrow and I had a concert next week, I doubt it we'll get the same results. Just because
yeah,
they still have this phobia around them. They've been watching the news for 1 year, say, stay home, stay away, right?
yeah. And
So
you don't want to be
it's
around
more
a
of a
group, a big
psychological
bunch
thing.
of people. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, last thing you want to do is you get sick and your kids get sick, or your
yeah,
grandma gets sick, or your mom or dad gets sick. That's the last thing you want, right? So,
yeah,
you're thinking about that as, instead of being selfish and trying to just have a good time, just kind of be safe,
yeah.
right?
That's true.
So I think
Jeez,
that's the problem about having shows come back immediately. I don't think it's gonna have immediate
yeah, it's
results.
probably gonna be a gradual incline. But
Probably
at
gonna
least
take
you
a
know
year.
that now. At least you know that, and you can prep for that for your shows. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
not like
yeah,
you're gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna throw this concert and expect everybody to come. Like now you know how to play it to what you think the market's gonna be like.
yeah, yeah. And
Jeez.
and for me, I'm not gonna be the first one to do it. I'll let somebody else do it, and I'll learn from their mistakes.
Yeah.
I'm tired of being the guinea pig. Like, hey,
Yeah,
you guys go do
yeah.
it because I don't need to do it right now. You
That
guys
makes
gotta do it,
sense.
right? Let
Yeah,
them do it, and I just get the report back. Hey, they gotta do this. They did this bad, so I said, okay, we gotta do that for our next one.
yeah.
I let a couple of them
Right
do them
on.
first.
Well, we've been going for an hour, bro. I think it's time for the question of the week. What's up, John?
Question of the week. Before the question of the week, Ray, I like asking you one question.
Yeah.
Because you're a promoter and all these years. Can you tell us a funny story, or what are the craziest things an artist
Oh,
put in their rider?
oh.
Maybe you want to define a
Man.
rider for the listeners out there, but
Yeah, so a rider is basically the artist's wish list, right? Demand of what they want in their green room, or whatever they demand, right? I haven't come across something too crazy. I think you know nothing real crazy. I don't think so that I witnessed something really crazy. I mean, Wiz Khalifa just wanted like XL condoms and some stuff like that, weed and stuff like that. But I mean, wasn't anything crazy out of your typical what you would expect anyways, right? But
Yeah.
I don't think I got to that level of artist yet that they would have blue
Prima
M&Ms,
donnas.
or like, yeah, or purple Skittles, right? I haven't
Yeah.
got to that point yet. And I think that's like the Lady Gaga,
Yeah.
Beyonce point, right? So I don't think I got to that level yet. I think I'm up next for that level. But so I couldn't tell you what that would be like.
Bro, I remember one time we were coming back from, I forget what it was. We were in the tour bus, and one of the bands just started lighting weed. They had like a flame torch with a butter knife connected to it, and they
Oh, I
heated up the
forget
butter
it.
knife, and then
Yeah.
they smushed it, and then the other guy came with the it was a toilet paper roll, and then just hit it off of that. And we're like, how'd you guys even get that? And they're like, oh, my drum kit, bro, I just put them in the bass. I know you know which band that is, but
Yeah. Yeah.
one
Yeah.
time we were coming back from, I think it was me, you, and Chris, and we went to the after party from J Boogs in Kona. And we were
Okay.
in the after party, and the hotel was kind of far away, and we're
Where was
catching
the after party at?
one of those clubs in Kona, but the hotel was far away where we did the concert. And then
Right.
for some reason we had to catch a cab back, and we were just done for the day. So me and Chris left. So we caught an Uber or a cab back. So on the way back,
Never have Uber back then.
yeah, it was a cab. On the way back, there's these dudes beefing on the side of the road.
Oh,
Do you
yeah,
remember
yeah,
that?
yeah,
And then he told the cab driver, wait, watch. So we stopped, watch these guys scrap. And then he told him, let the meter run.
Yeah.
Out of that concert, I remember that the most. So we watched these local brothers beef on the side of the road on the way back from the club.
I remember that now. Yeah.
All right, man. What's the question of the week?
Question of the week is, what are 3 things that you're going to look forward to do when the pandemic is when it's all done?
I think one of the biggest things for me is traveling. I like to travel. I've been to places like, I've been to Japan, I've been to Egypt, I've been to Paris, I've been to Rome, I've been to Ireland, I've been to London, I've been to Bahamas, I've been to a ton of places, Australia, New Zealand, I've been to Honduras in South America. I think I have a bucket list of places that I still want to see though, but I've seen a lot than the average person. But I think traveling is one of my big things that I have on my bucket list. I mean, if you know me before the pandemic, I would be on an airplane every 6 to 8 weeks traveling somewhere, either to a meeting in LA or Las Vegas for meetings, or flying up to the Big Island, or whatever it is. I wouldn't be on Honolulu. And I think that's what Thaddeus brought up, me spending more time with my kids. Now I can't do that, and I spend more time with them. Like I said, it's a blessing in disguise, for me. Traveling is one of them. Obviously, bringing back the concerts, the shows. I love live music. Nothing's better than just going to watching your favorite band or one of your favorite artists perform. And I think that the third thing is just getting back to normal. Just getting back to everyday life and not having to wear a mask. I mean, I don't think it's ever gonna be like that ever again. Obviously, life has changed. Like how 9/11 changed America. I think it's gonna be something similar where there's always gonna be
remnants of this
new
pandemic.
things implemented because of coronavirus. I think mask is never gonna go away. I think there's a lot of things that's never gonna go away. Testing, vaccines now is coming out. But yeah, just getting back to everyday normal life. Me hanging out with my family and friends and not worrying about if I can get arrested for having a barbecue at my house. Little kind of stuff like that, right? Is kind of what I look forward to. Nothing nothing extraordinary. Traveling, like I said, shows, and just back to normal in general.
For me, I think it would be no mask. I get super bummed out like in the mall and seeing grandparents hold their kids or hold their grandkids and they have masks on, and it's like you can't see anybody fucking smile. Like half
Yeah.
of aloha is a smile. So mine would be no mask. I'm over mask already. Plus, I always fucking forget it. I forget my mask every time in the car, and I always got to go back and get it.
Yeah.
Two, I would definitely want to go watch a Niners game like that
Yes,
and go
sports, yeah.
snowboarding.
That's
You
one
know,
of them too,
I
yeah.
definitely want to do that. And I think what would be my third one? Just to, like you said, like have gatherings or just being able to
Yeah.
shake somebody's hand, give them a hug, or
Yeah. There you go.
sneeze in public without everybody giving you stink eye. Like
Yeah,
that would be
yeah.
that would be kind of what my three would be. And yeah, like you said, get back to normal. Like it's weird because being normal was taken for granted. Like just getting out of
That's
your
what I'm
house
saying.
is
You
like
know, like so, like
crazy.
people realize they take a lot of things for granted. You know,
Yeah.
simple stuff like having dinner with Sunday dinners.
Yeah.
Wasn't a,
Yep.
it was canceling Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? Like little stuff like that. I think coming out of the pandemic, I think it's actually made us better as people.
Yeah.
If I mean, in a weird way. I hate to say it's in a weird way, but I think we're better people because of the pandemic.
And it cleaned up the earth a little bit. Everybody was stuck in houses, so you couldn't go outside and pollute the fucking
Yeah,
place. You know what
and
I mean?
there you go. And that's
Yeah.
another blessing, right? Everyone's stuck. No one's driving. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? There's no less pollution. No one's out at the beach littering.
Yeah.
Or just pollution in general, right? So you gave Mother Earth time to heal. And I
Yeah.
think that's what she needed too, right? So like I said, you gotta, like, a lot of people look at all the negative stuffs. I always try to look at the positive. I try to look at like things like that.
Yep.
The earth getting cleaner. Spending time with the kids. Just we learn to live with less at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yep.
No one,
For
no
real.
one, no one's out fucking buying all these expensive clothes to go,
Nowhere.
look good in their living room.
Yeah.
No one is going out buying, all these shoes or, whatever it is, right?
Yep. That's
You,
true.
you don't need a fancy car. It's just, life actually, believe it or not, became more simple.
Yeah. And
And I think,
what
I think that's what we needed. We needed a pause. I mean, not
realize
this
what's
long, but
important.
fuck, I
Yeah,
mean,
definitely not
this is
this long.
kind of too long of a pause, but I think we needed some kind of pause, and
Yeah.
and unfortunately,
Ground
this is the
us.
way it went, ground us more. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, like I said, just getting back to normal is kind of what I want.
Yeah.
But what
Right
is
on,
normal
man.
now? Nobody even know what normal is.
I know, bro. It's going to be interesting to see, but I hope it's better. I hope the new normal is a better normal.
Yeah,
And I hope people appreciate shit more. Like, you know what I mean? Like you said, Thanksgiving dinner or Christmas, like our Christmas, we usually have on Rager, and like
right.
we had like a bunch of like close family, and that's it. Usually, like I get excited. You know what I mean? This was like
Right.
a couple people can come over, and that's it. But
Right.
couldn't
I
even
mean,
do that.
it's simple stuff like, all these kids missing their cousins coming over to sing them happy birthday in
Yeah,
person, right?
exactly.
Everybody like
Yep.
Zoom birthdays, right? Everybody on
Yeah.
Zoom,
Or drive
singing
by.
happy
That's
birthday. I mean, drive-by birthday graduation. So, I mean,
yeah.
like I said, just getting back to normal is somewhat normal. At least
Yep.
half of that is kind of what I'm looking forward to. And like,
Yeah.
traveling and going to a Cowboys game, beating the Niners,
Whoa,
another thing.
I'm sick of that shit. I watched it happen twice with Chris live. See that shit? As soon as we get there, Zeke runs right in front of us for a touchdown. I'm like, fuck. It's like good
Yeah,
tickets
they're
too.
not too good.
Yeah.
They in bad shape too, Cowboys. Their
Yeah.
quarterback, Zeke, not their O-line. We'll see what
Yeah.
happens.
Nah,
I just
we're
enjoy.
just lucky going salary cap where the Cowboys be undefeated every year.
It'll be like the Yankees just buying
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah.
They're just so, regardless, that's the one thing you gotta admire about that team is regardless if they have an 0-16 record, they're still the number one franchise in sports.
Yep. Yep.
Them and the Yankees.
That's that oil
them,
money, huh?
Yankees and one soccer team, that soccer team or whatever.
Oh,
They're like they're
yeah.
just a mega money maker, regardless of what it is, you know.
Yeah.
But
I hope
yeah,
Dallas
man,
is in the biggest state.
yeah, that
Yeah.
helps, right? But yeah.
All right, man. Well, where can people find you, like on the web, and how can they get into your trading classes?
Yeah, I mean, you can find us on Instagram. You know, we're at Rayjrtrading, and in the Instagram bio, we have a link for the free Discord room. You know, that you can join
Okay.
and just kind of chat with people. Like I said, there's about 3,400 people in there right now. And then, you know, when May comes around, we have an app coming out. You know, at Rayjrtrading.com.
And what, they can still find you, Mayjah
I said TMRevents.net.
TMR. Oh, okay, TMRevents.net.
Yeah, so it
And
was
you-
just Major Rayjah. People don't know how to spell it. That's why, you know.
oh,
So,
yeah.
I think I just simplified it, used the acronym TMRevents.net. And, you know, it's a very vague title where it can be all different genres of music, you know.
Yeah,
It can be
that's true.
reggae, it can be hip hop, can be top 40, it can be
Oh, that makes
electric,
sense.
whatever it is. So I made it more of a user-friendly format, you know what I mean? Where
Yeah.
it's just posted about any event that I produce. So, yeah, on TMRevents.net, you know, obviously we have no events happening yet, but
Eventually.
so, yeah, eventually in time, you know, that all come back, and you know, hopefully I have both of these become household names in Hawaii, you know. And when I bring the concerts back, it's not going to be Ray Jr. Presents anymore. It's going to be Ray Jr. Trading Presents. So I'm
Oh,
branding it in every single way, using every avenue I can, because I'm already paying for it, you know?
Yeah. Well, you
So now
always go big, bruh, and I always respected that. And you
Yeah.
always had a vision, and you always try and make it happen. And that's something that I've learned from you that I implement in what I do. Bruh, I'm super stoked you came on, bruh. I'm super happy to have you on. That was a good,
Yeah,
that was
that
good.
is.
That was good fun, man. And you can always find us on the web, ATBpod.com, Instagram, Above the Bridge Podcast, and our YouTube, Above the Bridge Pod. Shout out to Boy Band John. Go follow him on Instagram, BBJ8, the letter 08. Follow him. He's funny. But thanks again, brother. And I appreciate you for coming on. We did a lot of shit together, and I'm so happy to see how you're swerved in this stupid crisis. And I'm gonna get in on that, dude. I gotta try some of your stuff out.
Yeah, get in on it, man.
Yeah.
It's changing people's lives every day. That's the
Good. I'm
crazy-
gonna say Ray Jr.'s trading got me out the clubs.
Yeah. There you go.
Right on, man.
Right
All
on,
right.
guys. Thank you for having
Shakas
me.
for the camera.
Have a good one.
Right on.